Are we up and running? Right. So yes, we have apologies from Kath Whiteman and Barry Roberts. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
So moved.
Yep.
From favour?
Aye.
Okay. Public forum. I'll remind public forum they have 5 minutes to speak to the item. And we have this morning Ben Grubb, Tairua Walk Society. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, good morning. I'd like to introduce Karen Williams, who's another committee member of Walk Tairua Society. And apologies from Joyce, who couldn't make it today. Okay, I want to talk to you about a letter that I sent regarding mowing. Is there anybody who didn't get that?
Yeah.
It's about mowing.
You got a question? Yeah, can't see that.
It's on there.
Yeah.
You want to come up, bring your chairs up a bit closer.
Yeah.
Over there, that's crazy. Well done. Now,
Get some glasses too, so I can see properly.
that's pretty sensible to me.
Okay, I'd like to draw your attention to the first paragraph. We noted that the grass footage on the northern side of this section where people walk has been recently mown, something that has always never been done before. For a fair length of this section of this highway, this mowing exposed reasonably flat terrain. If this length could be kept mown while we wait for the funding for the pathway, then this, along with the proposed reduction of speed limit, would create a less dangerous situation for people walking along here. We request that this strip be added to the regular mowing schedule as soon as possible. And could we be advised as to what decisions are made so that we understand, whether this is happening or whether it's not? And I'd like to add, since I wrote that, I've been informed that the mowing was done by a council contractor and that one of our members spoke to the guys that were mowing north of the Graham Stream Bridge, and they readily agreed to do it and did it. And they made a comment that the four-wheel drive mower that they use is ideal for this situation. Okay, that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing is meeting with Ed Varley. Is there anybody that hasn't got what Tairua suggested to Ed? Yeah. What we gave him, you already got it. Yeah. And then for you to read in due course. Thanks to Warwick and Chris for actually attending that meeting, which I thought was very, very positive. There were no notes taken, but our comments are that Ed was very open to the ideas that we presented. He agreed that he would speak to Tairua with NZTA, and he agreed that he would roughly reprice based on our ideas. So instead of just $550,000, he would look at what are more realistic than considering the ideas that we presented. He asked us if we would consider running the contract as an incorporated society, and we replied that we said we had an open mind to that. We weren't close to it, but we were open to it. And part of the discussion was that we had already done project management of the Pepe Loop situation, and we had basically a history of success in achieving projects. Okay, in general, we see our role as facilitators in getting this walkway together. We want to try and bring the parties together so they can actually start discussing stuff. We see a process of having each party come to the table with what they could possibly contribute in good faith, but without initially making any firm commitment. So the parties that we see are NZTA. We've had years of off and on dialogue, which has been interrupted by the cyclone recovery priority, and we understand all of that. Their contribution so far, which is a real surprise, was the pedestrian cycle bridge. So they've already come to the party and have actually presented something to actually create a safe passage from one side of the stream to the other. Dialogue with them is about to recommence. George has actually had a phone call from David Spears, and the dialogue we hope will be happening through Ed Varley. So there is a way forward with things. Council, we have submitted to annual and long-term plans, a number of them. We have had the previous mayor promise of help, which came to nothing, unfortunately. We understand that council has priorities about cyclone recovery. There's no offer of funding yet, but it's likely that something will be included in the long-term plan. We also note that there seems to be a thawing of the relationship with NZTA and various things that we've sort of heard seem to be going on. The fact that Roading and NZTA seem to be talking to each other seems pretty cool. Council staff, we intend to follow up with Ed Varley about the things that he undertook to do, so we're going to make contact with him this week to see where that is going. Landowner, we have made contact with Graham Turner, and he is, we feel, prepared to come to the party. He has himself presented the idea of providing a strip. So I think that's, and he's done it by saying, I'm putting something on the table, I'm not making any commitment, I want to see what the fine detail is as the negotiations continue. But I think that's a pretty reasonable position to take, and I think it's the same position that we as Walk Tairua would take in offering to do project managing. We've put it on the table, but then we want to go and see how that develops, what fine detail would be, and how we could possibly do it. Okay, and then the community board. Community board has voiced support, and we really appreciate that, but we've got no commitment of funding. We think the bridge boardwalk, as we've suggested to Ed Varley, could cost somewhere around about $100,000, probably a little bit under. And for that, we would have a bridge walkway over the stream, and that drain, that we could move the fence and we could get at least a metal surface for the full length, and that would be under $100,000. So we've been looking, yeah, I know, I'll go as fast as I can. I'll talk double quick. We've been having a look at your capital works program. Second page of that, we've got Tairua-Pāuanui Public Convenience Renewals, renewal of public facilities for the various toilets at Tairua Surf Club. There's 4 of them anyway, with $180,746 set aside for that. We're going to ask that you consider taking a small amount of that, deferring some of that maintenance that seems to be painting, and I'm not sure what else, a small amount of that to provide, to set up the possibility of maybe half of that $100,000 that we see as being a way of getting this project done. And if you could actually go and put that on the table, then we can go to NZTA and we can talk to them about the possibility of equaling that. And I think that could be a very, very good way forward of us getting this project done. That's me.
Thank you, Ben.
Just a couple of points of clarification.
Mhm.
So the bridge you're talking about, this walkway bridge, who was going to construct that?
We could, or it could be council, or it could be NTTA, but that's something.
They haven't offered that anything yet, have they?
Nobody's offered anything.
Right, okay. Okay, and have they given a price estimate what they would cost to do that? Was there any discussion?
No. We left Ed to go and have a look at doing that.
Right.
And see what he thought. We've based our pricing on, well, I've done it by just having a talk to Storm about the pile driving and so on, and having a look at the cost of timber, and having a look and looking at the cost of labour.
So just finally, the last one was around consents. Was there any discussion around consents? Was there any consents required for this work? Or?
There will be consents required, yes, and that's something, again, that's going to have to be, people are going to have to sit down and talk about. We're going to have to go and work out if Graham is going to go and provide the land, how he is going to be absolved of responsibility for it, whether it be through an easement, whether it be through the land being gifted to council or to NTTA. But these are the things that once we've got people at the table ready to talk, we can actually sit down and we can talk about them. And I think that all of these things are resolvable.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
There are no further public speakers. I say move that we receive NGRUB's table document and his presentation. You can have a move and second, please. Item 1.4, any items not on the
Thank you,
agenda?
Dan. Thank you.
Are there any items not on the agenda? There being none, item 1.5, conflicts of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest? Anyone has to be clear? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 1.6, minutes of confirmation. I so move that the Tairua-Pāuanui Community Board confirms its 19th of June 2023 minutes as a true and correct record of proceedings. Again, I have a move and second, please. Are there any omissions or errors or any other discussion?
No by any.
Okay, can put that on the table.
Well, should Chris move it and you second or whatever?
I moved.
Yeah, with you second, because we attended late by APL, Chris from the town, that's all.
Okay,
I'm just being technical.
yeah, that's all right. Well done. Yeah. So it's all in favour? And against? Carried. Item 2.1, discretionary grant applications.
Take the report has been read, but I would like to make one change. There's an error in the title. It says from the Tairua Community Board Discretionary Fund. That needs to be changed to Tairua-Pāuanui. Sorry about that.
I thought we were on a win there. I think we had too much.
So sorry, it's a typo. But apart from that, I will take the report as being read. Any discussion? Okay, I'll put the resolution forward then.
We already talked about it.
Right.
Oh,
The suggested resolution 1 is we receive the discretionary grant application of Elim Church, Tairua Information Centre and the Tairua-Pāuanui Promotions Incorporated. Report dated 23rd of August 2023. And 2, approve the following discretionary grant applications. For the Tairua Church, $4,000 towards the costs associated with the one home building the temporary reserve as an alternative to the Halloween celebrations. And a grant of $7,325 for the Tairua Information Centre towards the costs associated with holding a series of events over the summer break. And the Tairua-Pāuanui promotions of $4,140 towards the costs associated with the distribution mail out of the 2023 appeal for donations for fireworks and cost of maintenance of the barge. Yeah, we discussed this. Can I have a move in a second first, please?
Yeah, I think the
Thank you. Have a discussion.
Yep.
Yeah, we sort of hope that we can put this mail drop with the rate demands and all the rest of the council. We were told that it's contracted out, we can't do it.
Right.
It's a bit of a shame. And I don't know how else we can do it.
We're going to just buy the contractor an extra.
That's what it is.
That's what it is it?
That was the quote that we got from the people who do it.
For the contractor, I see. Go on, well, any other discussion on the other applications?
What are we funding the following thing now?
We have a,
So you have $30,000 this year for out of your retained earnings, so that's the resolution that you did last year. So it's only for the 2 years until we can get alternative solutions in place. This is the alternative solution. Because if you remember, prior to that, it was all on me doing it manually, mainly because of we can't give our rating database to a third party under the Privacy Act. So this was the next best alternative to help them out. So we'll do this as well this year, and we will do that again for the following years.
Would become an expected figure.
Right, it was only for the 2 years.
Yeah, no, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And here will come from.
yeah, well, at least it came out of community grants.
Yeah, we used to do a community grant for the kids.
All right? Any other discussion on those applications? If not, all in favour?
Aye.
None against? Item 3.1, group manager. We're going to, is it here? Okay. I thought she would wait for it to come on. 4.1, action schedule. That the Tairua-Pāuanui Community Board receives the action schedule report dated 24th of August 2023. And again, can I have a move in a second, please?
Yep.
Area manager. Is Dean coming in? Dean coming in?
So you've got the action schedule in front of you.
Yeah.
So is there anything
Let's see him up
that you want clarified or?
We've got two Holland screen open action.
You say your updates are for the two different reasons to do with it.
So we got an update on Holland Street, how we get on with it?
Who's talking to us?
I'm just, yeah, if you've got anything that you want clarified, then I can go back to the activity manager to get any clarification. We don't have anyone online at the moment.
Has it come up in the work program?
It should be in there.
And
So we'll get somebody talk there.
it's getting a bit ridiculous. It's been dragging on there for what, 6 years?
Around that. I think Ian Smith was going to report back on two things. One was the work that done recently around the social ship and the, where the consent was required to carry on with the work.
So he has put an update and he's saying the pit is the soakage system installed by the original development does not have a pipe outlet due to the level on the site and the development was built. The level of the grate on the cesspit is marginally higher than the invert of the pipe. Outlet at the pond, and if a pipe were laid at any level to the pond, it would not have sufficient gradient to flow correctly and would not correctly. Staff are looking at other options for discharge in the opposite direction. So I haven't got an update further than that, but these were the last updates that we got from the activity managers. So I can request a further update for you.
Please.
I have a note on the North Tairua. I just have a thank you. Following the meeting, I fully intended to get back to Ed and thank him for making himself available here in Tairua and his input on what has now become a real concern to our community, walkers and pedestrians. We need to keep this up front and centre of our negotiations. So yeah, a big thank you to Ed.
So through the chair, Warwick, is being presented this morning. Is this project going to fall into the action schedule? Is this program going to? Where's this program going to?
I don't know how.
Is this an LTP thing? Is this a?
So the board has actually given us priority support for LTP to get the funding in there.
Is this to do that? Is that? That's the request.
It has to come back with a reply. So,
We need some numbers, don't we?
yeah, at the meeting, we're going to get a business plan. We need to get, there's a talk about Graham Turner giving us a piece of land,
Yeah.
which takes us right away from NGTA, about in the paddock.
Totally.
Yeah.
Over the boundary. What about the bridge?
Well, that's an overtold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that part of it?
That's still part of it, it'll be in the paddock.
That's going to be in the paddock as well? All on Mr. Turner's land?
Yeah, if we can get something in an agreement with him, then we can do the construction on the field side and not tie up traffic control. Although he has come back and said there will still be something where there's an exit and entrance and exit. But yeah, the whole thing needs tightening up, it needs a business plan. So Ben's working on the whole thing, including the bridge, getting some costs.
So I just want to know where the project sits at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's quite, it's in the LTP.
Going
Now,
into
it's
LTP.
project. There's some work to be done on costings and where Mr. Turner's prepared to do it.
Yeah.
Going to buy the land or do some sort of.
Yeah, whether you'll pay it to us or, that's because that'll become fraction too. That's the idea.
Not EDTA marginal strip.
No, if we can get away from him, because he was talking about bund walls and all sorts of.
You can see where it's 500k came from, the way he talked.
So to put it on the other side of the road, we're going to mow at the moment.
Yeah.
What's the issue there?
I don't know, for the mowing.
Well, they actually mowed it for the first time in ages. And it's shown up that you could actually almost walk along some of it. But you can walk along some of it, isn't it?
And there's a drain, because there's a
So why
drain
not go that side of the road?
alongside the road.
Why not go on that side of the road to this side of the road?
No, it is that side of the road. You're not people crossing the road on you.
Yeah, it's on the inner side, the estuary side.
So they come across the bridge and go on to go that side of the road and walk out.
No, that's down the same side.
That's more dangerous than what we've got at the moment.
And of course, where the mowing piece is, there's another drain by the fence. So that would have, there's a lot of retaining. Oh, Bruce, good morning.
Good morning, board.
Talking there,
Morning. So where are we going to jump back really a bit?
Well, you finished the action schedule, so is there anything more that you want on the action schedule? Bruce may be able to clarify
The TIF
the
fund?
Holland Stream and everything else.
Oh, the Holland Stream. Do
Oh, yes, Holland Stream. Yep.
you have any further updates or?
Let me just pull up the work program. Let's see if we got what we've got on there. Yep. So basically, everything's in the thanks, Wendy. Everything's covered off in the comment there on the second page of the work program. We are looking to add that into the 24-34 LTP. We've got a number of works that have happened on the stream. We're still working on consenting side of things. We did do some work on the Mount Ave works, but they're quite costly, so quite expensive. So the decision was made that we needed to wait for the LTP for those. So yeah, so that's that's pretty much where that one's at, but happy to kind of answer any specific questions you might have. The other thing I should have said, sorry, before getting into it, was that if you look at this report, it's a little bit different to what we normally present. So it's obviously in two parts. So it's in last financial year, closing off the end of June. And then it's got the second part, which is the new financial year, which we've obviously just kind of kicked off and just got into. So it's not obviously running through for that first month of the financial year into the end of July. So yeah.
Hang on a minute, Bruce, we're still on the action schedule, not on the work program.
Oh, okay, sorry, apologies. A little bit hard to hear, sorry.
So if you want to finish up the action schedule, we'll go to the work program.
Yeah, I think the work program is a bit more realistic.
There's some stuff highlighted in the work program with the tourist tip funding.
So if we go to the work program, Chair.
No, it's right.
Do you want to finish up the action schedule? We're giving the resolution, but not.
No, yeah, back to work program.
Yeah, so if I can just read the Chair, Bruce, I just look at those numbers there, the AP budget and the 2023 and spend. So there's a little bit left over. Is that going to roll over into next year, that budget?
Is that for the Holland Close?
Holland Close, yeah, just looking at those.
So we've just gone through, and you'll see the report come to you at Council, Terry and Gary, at the September meeting. So there's a carry forward report which covers everything across the district. So yes, there is some money getting carried across from that. From memory, off the top of my head, I don't think we're carrying all of it across, because I think there's a number of bits and pieces that we need to get sorted, and we wouldn't be able to actually spend all of that leftover money this year because of some consenting that we need to do at Holland Close. And so that's why there'll be a portion that goes across to complete what we can this financial year, and then it'll be also, it's already been added into the draft capital list for the LTP as well.
Okay, thanks.
Consent, I thought the consent had been.
No,
I'd lost an idea with this consent business.
it's been going for a long while, and sort of, they've got on to do some other work, so I think I understand, Bruce, that this is other stuff around the edges, and really the consent was talked about but never done. Is that right? Or was it been prepared or something like that? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think you're right, Councillor Walker. Yeah, I think there's definitely there's a couple of different areas, and there's works that could be done, but there's works that are tied up and some more involved consenting work. So, which is always a challenge to try and move it forward in a quick fashion.
So it wasn't just a uniform consent process, it's fragmented or somewhat.
Well, I think the design at the start, when we went back 4 or 5 years, has changed. You know, how work is done, so I've done some remedial work and some mitigation stuff, and maybe the consent's not quite like it was originally discussed.
Yeah, things change, and yeah, just it is tricky. Some of those consents are quite specific and quite detailed. So yeah,
I think the opening of the clearing of the rivers helped a bit, you know, in terms of tested with a couple of events. It seems to
definitely. Yep. No, I think you're right, Terry. I think that, I definitely say that the work that has been done to date under that existing kind of stream clearing consent definitely has helped things. Yeah, things seem to have performed a lot better in those more recent kind of heavy rain events we've had, which is pleasing.
Why the hell did it take so long?
Did it flood in Gabriel at all?
I'm not aware of it, actually. I don't know. I don't recall hearing anything come through to me. I was away for February, so which was good timing on my part. But yeah, so I don't recall hearing, like there was a lot of surface water. There was water going everywhere, but I don't believe it was to the level that we've had in the past. But I stand to be corrected on that.
Would that not indicate that a little bit more stream clearing might solve a big part of our problem?
Possibly. And so again, looking at the stream clearing, and then also we know that diverting that stormwater on the north side, is it North Mount Ave, and taking that stuff directly down the road to the downstream side of the road culvert on Beach Road. We know that will really help as well. So possibly with the diversion of Mount Ave, a bit more stream clearing, that might actually get us as far as we need to go with that one. Take
some of that loading off.
Yeah, exactly. And like like we've always said, is like we don't want to kind of, when we first started talking about this one, we don't want to rush in and do everything in one go. We want to do a stage, consider how it's performing, do the next stage, you know what I mean, and only go as far as we need to. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how it's been going.
That's how it's been going, yeah. It's been a cock up from day one.
Dean, you got a comment?
Yeah, just through the chair, just a quick comment to add to that. I did attend Holland Stream with Ian Smith during a day where there was heavy rain. And it was interesting because Holland Stream remained within its banks, but there was surface water flooding and flows across a number of properties in quite a few other locations around Pāuanui. So yeah, it would indicate the stream gravel management works have helped. So regular doing of the gravel management, I think, is definitely a good tactic.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Yeah, just going through the numbers, that's all. Most things are pretty much tied up and finished, but there's a couple there. The Manaia Hub, obviously, there's been an extension to 120 square metres of additional to that project, and that's jumped the budget from 33 to 60. If you look at the car park resales, the Royal Village Point looks like it's waiting to happen. I think is that the big lump of that's what's left between that 127 and 36.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep, that's correct, Perry.
Yeah, okay. Footpath construction's pretty much everything's just about gone there. It's sort of on track. There's one other here, the harbour consent renewals. It's 105 and 68 left spent. So I'm just reading this. So they're just basic consents for that, are
Yeah, they're just the basic ones that we need for a little bit of the beach nourishment, dredging and nourishment, and also seawall at Bayview. So that's what that's all about. And again, this consents always seem to take longer than what we'd like them to take to apply for and get.
Right. So they've just got a consent for a couple of thousand cubes. Is that right for dredging? They've been doing some dredging recently, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think that's one we got a while ago now. I think it might have been before. It was before last Christmas from memory. I think. Casting my mind back. Yeah.
Okay. Could I just go back to the Manaia Road Hub?
Yes.
Have we had the final plan drafted? Is there a complete set of working drawings out there now?
I don't know. Apologies. I don't have that level of detail. So all I know is the design's completed, but there has been deferred to the long-term plan based on cost. But I don't know exactly the details around what level those designs are at, as far as whether they're construction drawings or whether they're detailed design or concept design. I don't know the answer to that, but I can find out and let you know.
Nice to see all.
Thank you. I sort of thought it had gone to staff, engineering, or
Yes.
something like that, but I haven't heard anything since.
Okay.
It'd be nice to have an update so I can get some of these people on my side instead of hassling me. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes. I understand.
I know it's been deferred and that's ruffled feathers, but.
No, I'll find out and let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, just look at the Tairua-Pāuanui public conveniences renewals. So the forecast for the end of June 2024. So that's the financial year. That $180,000 is that part of a TIP funded project?
Yeah, that's in the work schedule.
It's in the action schedule, so.
Action schedule.
These are upgrades.
This is
Upgrades
the
and
public
the
facilities
three toilets.
at the Tairua Surf Club, Tairua North, Tairua and Pāuanui Surf Club. Are they TIP funded?
We've just got TIP funding through for the Quarry Right to Main one.
Is that all in that 180K? Or is that?
I don't.
It seems cheap, it seems light.
Yeah, no, this was bit of,
I don't know, do you know, Bruce, about the TIF funding for Karakia, the main upgrade?
I think, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I did have a discussion with Derek because obviously there's work about, you know, around redo of the St. John's one, you know, whether they stay. I know initially they were not going to stay and they were going to be replaced by the one at, you know, by the skate park. But there are some discussions about whether they actually should stay, both of them, particularly now that we have this TIF funding as well, which is coming in. So it is making a little bit, it's a little bit tricky to kind of keep a handle on it off the top of my head. But I know that there's a paper, Derek's working on a paper to come to council around all the TIF funding. So we have to do a paper to accept the funding, if you know what I mean. So in that paper, that will be detailed about exactly what's going on as far as the TIF funding versus what we might already have in our budget, such as these ones.
So that's like 180K for 3 toilets, so it must be no TIF.
Correct. It's not for all 3, no. So I think, again, it's around how you balance it out between what we've got, the TIF funding, what services we need. You know, do we need the St. John's one as well as the new one, as well as stuff at Pauanui. So yeah, there's definitely some work going on, rationalisation, looking at what's the best way to move forwards with our funding and TIF funding.
so how do we get some input on that?
How do you get input on it?
Yeah. I mean, can we, are they going to talk to us about, I mean, particularly one at the Karakia domain, those old ones there. That is not going to be an easy job.
No.
One each side of the old St. John's building.
Yeah.
Not an easy fix, and it may well be that, you know, they could be scrapped.
Yeah, exactly.
Down the other end where there is a sewer connection down there backing off the old tennis club rooms. But we'd like to have some input on that with Derek or whoever.
Okay. What I'll do is the first thing I'll do is I'll touch base with Derek again, and I'll get him to get in touch with Eileen and then work out what's the best way to have some of those conversations that you're talking about, Warwick.
Yeah. Because the one at the surf club and the one on the top north end of the beach, I gather they'll just be resurfaced or refurbished. I mean, you know, let's get real. We don't need to knock the things over.
No.
Knock it over and build something brand spanking new, but let's look at options.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep. Understand.
Just a couple more, just quick ones, just really quick. The Tairua-Pāuanui boat ramp consenting. So where is this ramp?
There's a boat ramp at the end of Tairua Lane.
Right, so that 15K for that consent.
I've never seen anyone use it.
A few jet skis, it's out of.
Are we going to do some work on that, Bruce? Is that?
So
Yeah.
So through the chair, it's just it's just renewal of a consent for that Tairua boat ramp. And I know it doesn't get a lot of use all year round, but in summer it can get a little bit busy, jet skis and stuff, you know, with people kind of extending the different locations of where they are launching. So yeah, so it's really just a renewal of getting that consent renewed.
15K, it's a lot of money just to use for jet skis. Anyway, okay,
There's a
right.
little picnic area, it's little private one, it's a little remote area.
Yeah, I've never been
The
there.
cycle trail goes through it as well.
Okay. Okay, last one, just through the chair, is the shoreline management plan. It's got here a public meeting plan for the 16th of December. I thought it was coming earlier than that. Was there?
It's next week.
Yeah, I thought it was
Next week, it's the same as we
So is
did
that,
it
is it,
in the Tairua Golf Club.
I think that's supposed to be 16th of September.
Yeah,
September, yeah. Would that be
This
right?
weekend. This
Yeah.
weekend, Sunday.
it clashes with the MPs coming to town.
So you make sure we need to change that.
Which one would you rather listen to?
I'll be in Hamilton.
Okay, that's good, that's good.
Okay, any further? Thank you, Bruce.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thank you, board.
Did I haven't.
So moved.
Right, yeah. Move on the second, please, that the Tairua Community Board, Tairua-Pāuanui Community Board receives the action schedule report dated 24th of August 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 4.2, my report. Have a second, please. Moving to seconder,
Yeah.
any comments about it?
You want to do one?
I'll put my hand up this time.
Yeah, do you want to comment on it? Anything there, Chair?
No, it's, Kelly keeps a very close eye on it. Tends to remove items. Anything controversial? I don't know how to get around here.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, at least, it goes out there and, it attracts comment from,
All and sundry.
the footpath. People out there. Okay.
We went to the Tairua AGM, which is quite good. The walk
Yeah.
Tairua.
Walk Tairua, yes. Yeah, I can't get along with most of these, always interesting. I've got feathers, chocolate figures.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no further business, I'll close the meeting.